All right, call to order. Again.
Accept the minutes as read.
Read, seconded, okay, perfect. Next, so a couple of us were at county council, was it 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago? To formally, last week, sorry, thanks. Formally ask county council to add the hangar leases to the agenda. What was interesting was I've emailed council a few times, but never really got a response. I got a response the day of the council meeting, says, yes, we're working on it. That's the same response that we've gotten for how many months now? So I don't know what really working on it really means, but they are apparently still working on it. After the boarding, one of the council members said that they were going to set up a small group workshop with Jason Ward and us. That was supposed to be set up. It hasn't been set up yet. I'm still waiting for that to be set up. So maybe it's coming, maybe it's not. I don't know. So that's what we did on council. So that's our first official Dorchester County Aeronautics Board asking them for lease agreement questions. Do you want to play this video? We'll jump to the next thing.
Well, I can't get it to go on the screen.
Okay. So you guys saw, did you see the video from the, here, I'll pass this video along. So our current main gates, the new main gates really need attention badly. Here you go. I'll pass that down and then just press, tap on and press. The walkthrough gates, yes. So currently they have one installed. When we left this morning, they were installing the second main gate. There's one by Pelican Aviation that's already been installed. I haven't checked that one, but I imagine that one's the same way. Long story short, it needs to be addressed. That was.
Still the same code?
I don't even know. I couldn't tell you.
Doesn't matter now.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's the same code.
Fixed it, but it's not.
Well, it works. It works. I don't think I need this on. It works better now, but it's a matter of it. You press the button, reach it, and the thing is, it's not hidden. It's to the point where you walk. I saw it because I walked up sideways to it. And I was like, "What's the button on the back?" And I was, "What the?" And I pressed the button, and it unclicks and opens up. So it's pretty poor. The next thing. The AWAS system is intermittent. I've asked Eddie a couple times while he's been in the office to restart it. It's been intermittent, so the wind data doesn't work any longer on it. I spoke with him today. He said there's been a changing of the guard, so Jeff and Dorchester County is responsible for that. That's become a bit of a challenge because it's in Eddie's office. So we kind of have to ask Jeff. Jeff's unfortunately out of town, so just, I don't know when it's going to be back up, but it is intermittent and it doesn't work. So it's blowing 10 knots and it says it's wind's calm. The cloud coverage seems to be, exactly. The cloud coverage seems to be correct, but again, the AWAS system is out. So there's that. Sorry, the wind data is out. Continuing on, one of the things I said about 6 months ago was, in 6 months, if we don't have some traction, we should probably talk about trying to figure out how we can make the board more successful as far as being able to enact change and get action items and be more effective. We're 3 months in, and I love hanging out with you guys on random Tuesday nights, but I still struggle with trying to figure out where we're effective and how to get actual help from the county for assistance. So a great example is these man gates. Right, so we put new man gates in, but it's a matter of, like, I don't know if that's something that we should be involved in looking at, but at least kind of consult with some of the people that use those gates on a daily basis, or the general population from hangars, tenants that say, hey, yeah, this is going to work for me, before we actually just go and set up these things and spend a lot of money to realize we have to redo it.
Well, the thing I think we need to make sure that council knows is that we're the one answering questions for the users. They're coming to you guys and asking you the questions, just like the hangar leases.
Yep.
Yeah, sure, it's a confidential contractual requirement that they keep it to themselves, but they can at least say, we are looking at making a blanket lease for X years. We're looking at X dollar or X percentage increase. Or, yes, we know we're coming to the wire and we are diligently working on it. We need at least that kind of answer, and we're not getting even that much answer.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's a 30-year lease. It's not that it's a 2-year lease and all of a sudden, oh crap, we got to deal with it. It's like it's a 30-year lease. It's been known about for a long time now. We've been asking about it for well over a year now. And again, where's the action? And so from the effectiveness from us, again, I enjoy sitting here and talking about airports and talking about airplanes and all things aviation, but it's a matter of if we're the body to try and push for answers and we're not getting any answers, and it's show up at council and get the same response of, hey, we're working on it, then
Well, I guess the next question is, let's leave leases out of it for right now. What else are we doing? I mean, the question, like you just said about the gates, why are we in that? Isn't that the airport manager's job?
Absolutely.
What I'm driving at here is, do we need to give the airport manager more time to settle in and know where his responsibility is as opposed to ours with no responsibility? That, just like with the leases, shouldn't he be handling the leases?
That's, right now, it is being handled by the administrator
it's being handled by the administrator and county
and legal.
council.
In county council.
correct.
Now, where
I think
should
that's
it be?
only because they're expiring though.
Yes, but where should it be?
It should land on his desk once we figure out what direction. it's
Correct. It should land on his
Yes.
desk. And then going back, I think you mentioned something that's really important. Now, I don't want to gloss over it. Is should we give Mr. Craven time to settle in? Yeah, absolutely, 100% agree. He's very fresh to this job, and there's where, from our perspective, I'm speaking just for myself, but I'm at that airport 3 days out of a week, 5 days out of a week, some weeks. It's a matter of where there's assistance that I can be or assistance that you can be, being at St. George very close, just regionally close, and just using the airport where it's a matter of hey, we're doing this, this new gates. Here's kind of what they came up with real quick. Yeah, that looks good. Here's and so I don't think we need to be involved in the gate process necessarily of the man gates. That's a manager position, but if we can help with things like that so they don't have to go, we don't have to sit here and go, hey, by the way, I know you guys did some great work, but if you would have maybe just showed us what you guys were thinking, we could have come at from a collective of, he doesn't really work.
So, and Jeff is employed by Dorchester County so they're paying, and we're the advisory board.
Correct. And
So,
But
Are we
not to
invited?
him.
not him, but to the board.
to
the county council.
to county council only if requested by county council. So in the bylaws from the creation of I can't remember what's it, 70?
86?
Okay, 86. So in that creation document, it's only if requested by county council. To date, we have never, as a Dorchester Aeronautics Board, ever been requested any information. So ultimately, everything that we're trying to do and trying to ask is coming at it from our side to try and say, hey, can we help? Hey, can we help? Hey, can we talk about it? And ultimately, we don't have any responsibility to do that.
Ultimately, it appears that they really don't want our assistance. Until, the lease question comes up, and there's probably gonna be some questions they have, but other than that, I've been on it now 5 or 6 years, and we have yet to have any correspondence with county council, any whatsoever.
Yeah.
The only relationship we ever have is the law firm, engineering firm,
Yeah,
and,
consulting guy.
Holt, yeah.
and the, what was the airport manager. That was it. And they seem to be content with that. guess the only thing that we have been able to do is being the airing, maybe overview of what's coming downstream for the airport. But other than that, and we get that from the engineering firm.
Yeah.
They do all the legwork, they do everything.
I wonder how Mr. Holt meeting with us checks a box for the county.
I don't know if
Doesn't
it,
make any sense that he even comes and sees us.
it,
Well, except to keep us up to speed on what's going on.
It seems like a big exercise that doesn't meet any requirements.
and there's where,
County level.
and there's where when, and there's a distinct reason why, you know, from Holt, not coming, because I generally, just from a personal level, like I felt bad for him coming here on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock from Columbia to come chit chat with us. Like, you can send a PDF, you know, or a PowerPoint, like there's no,
Yeah.
Going Wednesday morning though.
oh, exactly.
He's done it for the last
Yeah.
5 years, and I don't know if it's in his contract with county council or
Yeah.
Dorchester County, that's what he do. I don't know. I mean, it was interesting to us.
At some point, he must be
Yeah.
briefing them, right?
No, what he does is sit down with Mr. Ward. The best I can tell, he sits down with Mr. Ward, and probably now, Mr. Ward and Jeff, and says, this is what's laid out as far as funding and what requirements we have and what we've got done so that the funding can match. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because like you say, you have the longest history with this board of, you know, you say 5 years, and it's a matter of you've never been requested once for any discussion, for any assistance from the Dorchester board. So again, I want to help. I think we all want to help because we all want to see, because I think ultimately I'm pushing from my perspective from the lease and asking about the lease, purely because I know it's a business and it's an economic growth perspective, and it's economic growth for, hey, the economy's going to grow, the airport's going to grow, everyone that has any kind of interest in aviation, it's going to grow. And so it's not just not just a tenant lease perspective question, it's a business growth perspective. And so right now, if we're trying to grow a county and grow our economy, things like that, that's why I'm pushing it. I have no skin in the game. If they decide tomorrow, hey, we're not going to renew it, and they're going to do something else, cool. It doesn't bother me, but I keep hearing these voices of, hey, like, when are we going to hear? 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 I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, like I say, I think, from my perspective, once Jeff is up to speed, we can go away,
Yeah.
I would think, because everything's in place to do what we do as long as he steps up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And the one thing, the void we've had in the past was Don was part-time.
Right.
And so I think they felt that, well, I don't know who felt, but, so he could, Don, every, month could tell us what's going on, but there wasn't anything we could do about it in reality.
Yeah.
I
Well-
mean, we'd ask some questions like, well, how are your security actions, and do we have a security plan in place? And, Don used to handle the FAA coming through and inspecting and everything else, and of course Jeff will do that too. So I think that's probably what we need to do, is be in almost a holding pattern here for a couple months. And, bottom line, the way we look at it is, if Jeff's doing a good job, I think it's time for us to have a serious discussion with Mr. Ward and say, I think there are 6 or 7 people here that are wasting their time.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with
Oh, yeah.
that at all.
Absolutely. And that's why when I said 6 months ago, I said in 6 months, if it doesn't make sense for myself, like, I'm going to, recuse myself, so to speak, from this position, because it doesn't make sense for me if I'm not doing anything, if I'm not providing any support, if the county is not asking us for any support. So,
Just a level of frustration you should have in your life every now and then.
yeah, well, yeah.
Well, I mean, and I agree, I mean, we should feel like we're hunting back.
Exactly.
It's, to someone or something.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so maybe Jeff Craven, maybe the airport manager, maybe he says, this board needs to morph into X, Y, Z. Maybe he creates,
Absolutely.
maybe he uses this in a different, like, maybe we just need to give him some time to kind of like, I doubt he's been invited to a long-range planning meeting yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they have them, because, you know, they're gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
But once he does that, maybe he can find a better use for us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
In the current leases, the board is the one who's supposed to approve the hangars. It's in the lease. So if they're building a hangar,
Approve new construction.
they're supposed to bring it to us, and we're supposed to approve it.
Well,
For new construction.
Well, it's in the hangar lease. Now, that's a land lease. So if they're building on any of that leased property, under the contract that I have a copy of, we had to approve what they do.
I think, you know, at least our recommendation should be that should be the airport manager's position. Or,
But we're not getting an input on the contract, so we can't tell them that.
Yeah.
yeah,
They're not asking us. They don't,
yeah.
they're
Well,
not.
but that doesn't mean we can't, you know, I can go over to Eddie Crosby tonight on the phone and say, hey, Eddie, there's one thing in the contract that, you know, I'd recommend you change, and that is that the airport manager approves, you know, the changes to the hangars, or if, you know, if it's somebody within the infrastructure of the county that has to approve that, then his recommendation to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we will morph, and we need to, because for 5 years now, if there's never been any requests, I think you are right with Don in the part-time role, there was need for having that support. Jeff still, I feel, values the support and appreciates the support we can provide, but overall, from a spearheading perspective, you know, I'm trying to help us spearhead things that we've been not asked to spearhead things on. And it's, okay, they don't want to talk to us. Okay, that's fine.
I get the feeling that Jeff is very experienced.
Correct.
And that he knows what he's doing, he's just
100%.
needs to learn the people in the area and
The processes.
yeah, and, I mean, that's the impression that I got from him. But
Well, I think for now, our role is to let them know when things aren't right, whether they want to listen to us or not. Like this gate, I'm making a motion that we send this video to the airport manager and to Mr. Ward. And tell him, because this is an FAA violation. This is an FAA security violation. And if the FAA comes down and finds it, then heads roll.
Yeah, I'd recommend sending that to at least Jeff and give him,
Yeah, and
and then he's got the ball and has to run with it from that point.
I texted Jeff the video earlier today. He is on vacation, so he wasn't able to come. He was going to try and come, but he wasn't able to for vacation. So 100% agree if he doesn't get to it right away, you know, I respect people on vacation. So it comes down to it. But yeah, he is aware. I've let him know, and I think he will take care of it. There is staff there while he is gone, some airport staff, so I think they'll see if we can take care of it. But I think it is known about. From an FAA perspective, I've looked into this from the past. It says, it's very broad statements of it needs to be secure, right? So it's a very broad statement. Someone can look at that and go, oh, well, that's secure, right? Someone can look at a used car and go, well, that's a great car. And someone can look at it and go, that's a terrible car. Well, it depends on how you look at it, right? Is it secure?
And it's up to
Sure.
the FAA how they look at it.
Exactly.
And if they look at it one way, then we're in
Exactly.
trouble.
Okay. So there's where I'm gonna jump to one other thing quickly here. So Jeff emailed me because he wasn't able to make it. He did email me his updates on some things. So let me just open that quickly. Let's see here. So this was a consolidation of all the items that he had gotten requests from us or just general requests from the community, things like that, things like Pappy. So I'm just gonna go through this real quick, just to provide this because this was his request. Let's get a load here. Okay, while it's loading, St. George, I landed there in St. George earlier this week. I wonder if there's ability for doing a grass taxiway. It-
Grass taxiway.
Because one of the things was the usage for flight school, because they have to taxi back, right? There is a small little ravine right there, right? But I'm wondering if it's possible to potentially do a grass taxiway there. Okay. Because if we can do that, right, that's the one big thing the flight school operators keep saying, okay, well, we can't use it because we have to do a taxi back, right? The only thing is it has that little ridge there, but I don't know if there's ability to move something across it. But
I'll have to go out and look at it.
If I may, if you go straight across
Yeah.
the taxiway, the current one, the paved one,
yeah,
there's like a little culvert, and it's a little, I guess, a bridge, if you wanna say it like that,
okay,
that goes over to the other side. That's how they cut the grass there.
okay,
So you could use that, I mean, I use it,
there you go.
do stuff like that, so you can take your airplane and taxi down that way. Problem is that when you get all the way to the end, especially like on 2-3, it's really difficult, but both ends really, to get around, especially if it's been raining a lot.
Yeah,
To get it back on the runway at that point. So if there was some assistance at the ends of the runway to get it back on, that would be the way that you do that.
And also, would the flight school allow them to use a grass taxiway?
that I don't know. But the reason why I was thinking about it is because we just got back from Oshkosh, so everyone lands and you roll off the runway to get off the runway right away, right? And to get you from the grass back on the runway, they roll it nice and smooth to get back on the runway or the taxiway. And so the entire time I was there, I was like, man, we should do this to St. George. So I took Rob there to St. George. We landed there. And I was like, you know what? By golly, I bet you they could do that.
Should have called me.
All right. Oh, we were in Singers. But I was just thinking, again, that it goes down to kind of go back to the effectiveness of our board perspective. Like, can we suggest that? Like, sure. Like, I think it'd be a good idea to at least look into, right? Because if it's going to reduce the traffic at Somerville, right, expand the ability to use St. George, and then my thinking is, okay, well, if I can expand the usage there, can we put a big hangar there? Can we have an operations there, right?
Jeff is managing both airports.
Correct, because all Dorchester County. Great, all Dorchester County. Let me open this for us real quick. So,
Has he been successful in hiring, he wanted to hire a position for Somerville? Was he successful?
I have not seen any updates from him as far as that. I've not seen anything. So I'm going to go through here. It's only 14 items, so it's going to go fast. So the CSU Agreement and Development Plan. So that one, there's been a draft between that and then the FBO operators, so it'd be Pelican and CSU. That's in draft right now, so it's still open. The runway 6 Pappy lights, they need a survey. They're waiting funds to conduct the survey on approach ends for both fields. That's to be determined. We don't know yet. Oh, sorry. Back the draft. It's going to be estimated close for September 30th to have the closing of all the documents for Pelican and CSU. The Pappy lights, you guys remember, was out of commission because of the motherboard. They expect that motherboard to be in August 15th, so that'll be closed hopefully end of the month. So we'll have Pappy's back finally. That'd be really nice. The RNAV unavailable at night, obviously that's waiting on the survey, so that's still to be determined. Airport manager, so Jeff now has access to all the NOTAM systems, so we have actually seen NOTAMs being added and things like that, so that's a closed item on that. They're waiting design project funding for parking lot and more funds. So it's looking like a fiscal year 27 for the overflow. So that's again a to be determined on that one. The obstruction degrading capability. So again, that's also goes back to the funding in the airport survey. Needs to be done there. FBO agreements. We talked about that one already. Hangar operations inspections, so that's waiting on the hangar lease. So he's waiting on the hangar lease as well. For lease agreements, renewals, way forward, his Action item is need guidance from leadership, and his status is awaiting that guidance. So he's in the same boat as we all are. Next time is the fuel farm, the current operations. Project's funded scheduled. Project start is August 11th, and it's going to be closed February 1st. So if you guys remember, it was going to be closed Q4, but now it's shifted from Q3 to Q1 right now.
And the tanks at St. George appear to be empty. The large one is marked empty. The two smaller ones are hollow sounding.
Correct.
I think the big one is a double wall, so you can't really tell, but the other two smaller ones appear to be empty too.
Modify all the gates. We talked about this. So he has a close date of August 8th, so potentially end of this week, but we'll probably restart some of that times. The abandoned aircraft, he's working on that. He's waiting legal approval to remove it and to execute a plan to remove it. And then there's also the ramp apron, the cracking. He's working on a cost sharing with the SCAC, which is the South Carolina Aeronautics Commission, I believe that's the right terminology, to recode it and reseal it and recrack all that. So there's that. One of the things that he didn't have on here, but I spoke with him on the phone talking about was getting fire and EMS, local fire and EMS involved, potentially just doing a one-day visit there at the airport to just talk about, okay, here's some hot points for aircraft, here's some where the fuel farm is, here's some extraction, just basic things in the aircraft. I told myself, and I can get some other people involved in that, and to say, hey, come out whenever the fire and EMS guys are there. We'll show you guys where to pick up, where to flip, where to fire extinguish, where to do all your stuff. I know I wouldn't mind it.
I would think that'd be an annual requirement to do.
I'm not sure the requirement, but I told them basically is that if I go off the end or if I put it down somewhere, I want to know the guy that's going to come help me knows what he's doing. It's the same thing we do for every air show. So I still work air show. Every air show we meet with the fire crew chief before the air show, and he works and goes through our entire plan for extraction. So we can't do that for every city, every airplane, but it would be nice to know that EMS that responds to the scene is general aviation aware. It's
Yeah, I
gonna be
know
really nice.
we had some serious.
Have you already made contact with somebody in the fire department on that?
I have not. That was
I'm the training captain for the fire department.
Okay.
In Dorchester County, so I can make that happen if you want me to get it signed up for you.
I would say from a request, I would say just work through Jeff because Jeff is trying to control, or not control, but Jeff is trying to manage that from a high level Dorchester County and how that all works.
Okay.
I would say from my level, being the low guy on the totem pole, I'll meet you at the airport and show you where to flip an airplane and show you where to hose it out and show you some just general basic stuff of, hey, if this thing is in your front yard, here's what you can do with it. That's basically what I'll do.
I know when we had the jet catch fire out here
Yep.
after their landing, and the medics and everybody, the firemen, did a wonderful job, and we couldn't understand why, because we never had any practice. But they did a tremendous job. And at that point, we discussed it, that there should be some plan where they have the opportunity to come out
Do they even have the gate codes?
and view it.
I'm not sure.
And it went nowhere.
What?
We did that night.
Yeah, and so there's where it's like, I'd like to have, whoever is involved. Again, I'm the low guy on the totem pole, but I'll be the first guy to go. Here's some basic things like spray here, lift here, flip here. The same thing we do for any of our air show airplanes, right? Just basic knowledge. Like most gates, maybe you can tell me. So there's certain siren sounds. Is that correct? There's like a yelp or a whoop or something. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's not at Somerville, but it's like in a lot of the subdivisions. You
Okay.
get a whale siren, like Ashley or whatever one on Dorchester Road is called.
Okay.
And there's a couple other ones, like some in the ponds, you get a whale siren, it'll open the gate.
Exactly, and that's where I remember growing
We have
up.
all the codes, we have what's called Active 911 on our telephone,
Yeah.
and it has all the gate codes and things like that, and in addition to that, we have what's called knock boxes.
Okay.
And we have keys that we carry on the fire engines that can open up pretty much every business that has those knock boxes.
Okay.
In the county, so.
Yeah, and so like I remember going into the airport that I grew up at, like it was a big placard sign, like EMS, you use this siren, and it was like bolded, like what siren they were supposed to use, and it would automatically open, like things like that. I know for me, like if it's very selfish to say this, but like if I have something that I need them, I want to know exactly, they know exactly what to do. Like it's very selfish, but I think it's going to affect and help everyone to whoever happens, especially with the growing operations, with more transient visitors, with a growing flight school. It's just going to help everybody, right? I'm selfish to say I want to do it for myself, but it's going to benefit everybody.
We also have master keys too.
Okay,
Bolt cutters, I guess, than anything.
Yeah.
there you go.
Pretty close.
Sorry.
Sounds like this is fall under a safety program or an SOP for, you know.
Something.
do it
Yeah.
Annually or annually or whatever it is.
In there, in going back to like the board effectiveness, there's where it's like, you know, if Jeff were to say, hey, I've got mandated that I need to have a safety, you know, thing once a year. Hey, board members, hey, can you guys scramble 20 people and 20 airplanes and meet me on this day? Man, we're off to the races. You know, we'll be there because we're the kind of the voice of the people at the airport. We can get those people. We can get the community active there. That he's not having to chase every single little person down, right? And there's where, again, I think there's where our effectiveness comes down to.
Yep.
One thing I was going to ask, on the lease agreements, are the leases a land only or hangar?
It is the land, they are land leases.
Are the hangars part of the lease? Do we know?
No, the hangars,
They're a part of the lease at the expiration.
yeah,
Okay, so if it expires, the metal becomes county.
county property.
But if,
yes. But they were, the land was leased as bare land.
Yeah.
When it was leased,
The hangar's never mentioned until the expiration of the lease.
correct.
I've been asked
Here it
a
is.
silly question in the past, and I want to ask it, maybe you guys know. If if the metal is not there at the end of the expiration, is that okay? It's a silly question.
I've been asked that one too.
Yeah. And I don't know.
I don't think there's anything in there that says you can't tear the hangar down. I'm sure the intent wasn't that, but it's probably a loophole.
Okay.
Well, I guess,
And I've heard that from a lot of people out there.
Yeah, and that's why I keep getting asked.
Yeah, they'd rather scrap it than turn it over.
Yeah, exactly.
you know, an interesting question is, what if the county doesn't do anything about the lease?
It's, no offense, but it goes back to the same thing with Pelican. Pelican doesn't have
Right.
An
For how many
actual
years now?
Contract.
an actual contract.
Well,
Eddie has
okay.
Now Jeff's working on that. I'm not going to discredit Jeff. Jeff's doing a great job that he's working towards that. But like, it just expires and the county council and is supposed to re-up that and renew that and work through that and negotiate
The
that.
onus is on the county to renew the lease, isn't it? It's their land, the guy's sitting on it.
Yeah,
and
they
you
can,
don't offer him the opportunity to renew it.
I think,
Where do you go,
I
court?
think, well, no.
it's
the-
abandoned. I mean, you abandon it and the court takes it over,
I
but
don't.
the county takes it over.
The
County
end of
takes
the
it over.
lease, the
But
end
the-
of the lease is it's county property.
It,
Yeah.
it doesn't say
It doesn't say
anything,
they have to renew it.
it doesn't say anything about what happens to the property that is installed on it in here.
No, it
It
doesn't.
says they will build the hangar within 3 years. It says the board will approve it, and it's 31 years. You pay the rent, you don't wanna build a shack, you gotta build a workmanlike hangar, which means a professionally built hangar and not something you just threw up, and it has to be maintained. Has to have liability insurance, and you can install utilities to it. But there's nothing in here that says what happens at the end. Even what you were saying, it's not written in here. There's a catch-all clause up here like, it will be pursuant to the laws of the state of South Carolina. So if the laws of South Carolina regarding leases say something, it's not written in here.
It doesn't say that the county takes possession at year 31.
No, it doesn't say it.
Interesting.
And I
Yeah,
emailed this out.
Question there.
I emailed this out several months ago, but I can email it again if you
I
want.
have a lease, so You know, I thought I was going by what I remembered, but I should have.
And that's where like.
And it may be different than this one. This was, what's the guy that sits next to me?
Rob.
Rob's lease.
Okay, so
This
that,
is Rob's
that
lease.
used to be one of mine.
Yeah, but it goes back to that question of like, when that expires, is there metal sitting on that piece of dirt?
It doesn't address that.
Or is there not a metal piece sitting on that?
From just reading this cursory, you can clear it off and turn it back. Or you can abandon what's on there.
So basically, here's your piece of dirt, or here's whatever's piece
Here's
of
what
dirt.
here's what we abandoned on it. And boy, that's a huge liability for the county, because, okay, I have a hangar, and if it's not current up to code, and I want to lease it out, I'm gonna have to make it as a county, I'm gonna have to bring it to code.
Yeah. Code's
And-
changed a lot.
And who knows, I mean, this is from '86. You know what the code was like in '86 versus today? Big difference. I mean, electrical code has changed huge, and the firefighter knows how much things have changed since '86.
2 years has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
So if I were the owner, I wouldn't wanna renew my lease
That,
and say, but if you bring the hangar up to code, I'll lease it.
it would
But
have to
the-
be sprinkled now. That would cost a fortune.
I'm sure it would, it'd have to be phoned.
Definitely would have to. I mean, I don't know the codes at all, but like, I can't imagine you do that without getting it, sprinkler heads and the whole thing.
I think it, I could be wrong on this, but I think it depends on what you're storing and how much of what you're storing.
What, the application.
Yeah.
You know, with the sprinklers, what is required.
Well, there's an RV and a bunch of junk in one of them, and no airplane.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to like, you know, we have hangars that have no aviation use, and
Which is a violation.
which is a violation of the FAA. Technically, and you can skirt around that.
And the lease.
Yeah, you can skirt around that 6 ways to Sunday, but it's a matter of I've been saying that for the last year or so now, and I think Jeff's working on it. Jeff's new; he's green to it. All right, but I think it goes down to Jeff also needs the support of the community and the board saying, "Hey, guess what? County, you've got to pay attention here. You have some things. You have, according to the lease, you have the potential of getting a bunch of dirt back versus getting a hangar and dirt in less than a year, in less than 6 months."
And you make it a hangar you don't want.
And if they get dirt instead of a hangar, they'd be better off. If they've gotta upgrade all the stuff in the hangar.
It just depends on what they wanna do with it.
And again,
I'm in favor of the demo then.
I want to sit down meeting, right, with the players in the game, right? You sit at a table and you hash it out and you figure it out, because it's a 31-year lease that you're waiting until the last 6 months, less than 6 months, right? And so hangar owners have one or two choices. One, go roll the dice and go, maybe I'll get this hangar, maybe the county will take it over.
Month-to-month leases.
Month to month lease, I don't know, it's a gamble, it's a roll of dice. Or I can give them back a piece of dirt.
To push anybody out of any of those buildings, they would have to evict them. Non-payment or whatever the
Yeah.
case.
But
But if you're paying the lease, even after the lease is expired, do you have the legal right to be there?
the lack of renewing current FBO services contracts, and for lack of better wording, a lease of a type of formal document between county and an operator, or county and someone there at the airport, whatever you want to call it, legal document, contract, whatever. The county didn't do that for one person, one operator at the airport. We're at the same thing with the leases now. So I think the county is going to do one of two things. They're just going to let it go the same way they did the fuel contract, and then no. And I say all that to say, next meeting, I've been communicating with someone in Orangeburg County that has been contracted by the county to find individuals that want to build hangars and want to grow the Orangeburg County Airport. Orangeburg doesn't have the funds to do it themselves, so they've found a group that is responsible for finding customers and finding people to build hangars and add hangars there and grow that. And it's a matter of, I look at that and I look at what we have for ourselves, and I go, you have one county that's realizing, hey, I don't have any money, and it's kind of like, a person that, doesn't have money. It's like, I don't have any money, but I'm gonna walk to work to make money, right? I don't have any money to build hangars, but I'm gonna do whatever I can because I realize the economic growth that hangars and aviation provides. What can I do? Well, let's think outside the box. Let's find a company that can find people to build hangars and to build hangars there at the airport. And they're building hangars. I've been working with the individual there, and I've seen the drafts of the lease agreements with Orangeburg County. And they're 30-year leases, right? And they're working through all the legalities. Now, the county can't obviously build it. It's gonna be similar to Dorchester County, where it's gonna be private funds that are building it. But again, they're working, they're active on it. Whereas we have 6 months left and we can't get a response. But to your point, is that just we sit in a holding pattern and go, well,
I think it's all in Jeff's lap. I think it's in his lap.
is the lease agreements have the airport manager as the, or does it have, or you were talking about the board?
It had us.
We were to
We approve the buildings, not the
approve the
lease.
building.
Not the lease, okay.
Airport manager receives the payment. Submitted to the airport manager, 2120 East Main Street, Dorchester. And it's $100 a year in this lease,
It's what, $100 a year?
which is
Pennies.
free.
And I think I've spoken on record to say that I think we all can agree that $100 a year is ridiculously low and it needs to be adjusted for market rate.
Are
Right.
any of these hangars being sublet?
As far as from, yeah,
Several of them.
yeah.
That poses another.
And they're transferred. I mean, you sold a couple of yours, right?
And but from a business perspective, right, if you have the ability for, say that first row, the aviation one, is it aviation group one? I can't remember.
That's
Okay.
right. I think that's right.
So if aviation group one goes, hey, we have these hangars, right? And we have, was it 10 T hangars, I think it is? 10,
Yeah.
I think it's 10 T hangars. Okay, so
There's two 10-unit T hangars.
okay. So if aviation group one says, hey, we want to rip all of these down because it's been 30 years and we want to build the most high class, beautiful hangars with air conditioning and sprinklers and spray and offices and all that good stuff, right? They're not going to do any investment into that project because in less than 6 months, all their hard work could be given to somebody else. So there's where I go back to, it's ultimately a business decision from the county. The county is basically blocking, not really blocking, but basically the county has put on hold anyone that's wanting to do any business decision at that airport. Because why would anyone want to invest anything into the airport with the big hanging looming unknown,
Including Pelican.
including Pelican? Or any, look at CSU. CSU, we've talked in the past about Berkeley County, Berkeley County, where Berkeley County has said, hey, here's your piece of dirt, right? It's not formal, it's not official, but they said, yeah, we have this rough area where you can build, because they realize, hey, there's growth, there's growth.
Yeah.
And we can't even say, oh yeah, well, let's talk.
Yeah, I think they're hanging their hat on Jeff. For the lack of any other excuse except lack of energy.
Yeah. I would agree, but I would also say, based on conversations with Jeff, it comes down to county council and the county administrator there's where the decision comes in. He's gonna play it out, right? He's gonna play out their decision, you know, and ultimately I would say poor Jeff, and I've teased him about this, poor Jeff, if in less than 6 months, Jeff now manages a piece of dirt where there used to be hangars, or 10 hangars all of a sudden, because according to the lease, county's responsible for them now. And the day that lease expires, or the day after the lease expires, she's gonna get phone calls, hey, my hangar's leaking, hey, this is broken, hey, this is not up to codes, because now all of a sudden, Jeff is a landlord on 10 new T-hangars. And he's gonna have his phone melting down because of how many phone calls he's gonna get, because
And that's only if they don't allow them to do month to month. If they say, you just do month to month until we figure this out, then it's status quo.
But they haven't even said that.
they haven't said
They
yet.
haven't done anything.
Again, it's been over a year now.
But I mean,
we've been
even
asking.
month to month, it's not paid monthly, it's paid annually.
Right.
And so again, ultimately, yeah, it's down, you know, Jeff's gonna have to play out whatever county council decides, but again, I feel bad for Jeff, because Jeff's all of a sudden gonna have to manage and be a landlord to 10 hangars that he's already having to fix gates, he's already having to deal with the FAA, the Pappies are out, and he's a one-man band, right? He's doing an amazing job, but like now he's a one-man band that's stretched even thin. He's a one-man band managing something, and guess what? He's now a landlord of 10 new hangars.
And no money to fix it.
And no money to fix it. Because we're still waiting on survey data to turn on approach lights. And we don't have funds to do survey data.
How do we jump off this boat?
I bang that gavel. That was the only things I had from my side. I think I'll take the lead role on working with, because I'll be there again in the morning. I'll take the lead role on trying to figure out who to talk to at county about the gates. Because for me, that gate is right behind the hangar that I walk into every day. Right?
I honestly think you did what you needed to do. You talked to Jeff, let him do his job.
He's on vacation though, and I think he's gone for about 2
Has
weeks.
he asked you for help? He's manning the building, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If he doesn't ask you for help, I just let it roll.
okay.
And,
I'll
you
do
know,
a formal email then. I'll do a formal email to him and Jason, because he is out of the office,
Yeah.
and to say, hey, just an FYI.
Notification, just here you go.
Yeah.
I agree. I'd just give him all the chance you can to do his job.
Yep.
We've never had the opportunity to have a full-time guy.
No.
And I think he's the right guy,
Oh, 100%.
so,
100%.
who knows? He may pick up all these things and run with them, and 3 months from now, we can, make a motion to disband the Aeronautics
Well,
Board.
we can't disband the board. That is a council function. We
Oh.
can resign our position, but the disbanding of the board, it would require a action of council.
Gotcha, okay.
I think in the ethos of what the board is, I think it's good, right? I'm not going to dispute that. It's then utilize it.
Yeah. I think it's a missed opportunity on their part, for sure.
And I plan to have a little conversation with my councilman
Yeah.
about that very thing that, where you,
Well, he took
How
the
would you-
time to
Yeah.
sit in the back that night,
Yeah.
so I know he's interested.
so I'm planning on making a request to him to sit down again and, if we go to Denny's or whatever, and,
You let me know. I'm just around the corner.
okay, I will.
He's in my district.
Cause I'd like, yeah. I know that confused you, but I was appointed in your district.
So, all right. Motion to adjourn.
So motion.
There we go.